In this video, I'm going to cover our multi-table tournament simulator. You can get to it by clicking here. And at the end of this video, I'm also going to briefly cover our sit and go and final table trainer simulators. This video is going to be shorter because I'm going to assume you've already watched the video for our cash game simulator. Many of the options will be identical and I won't cover them in this video if I already covered them in the other video. So this is the video I'm referring to here. Be sure to watch this one first. Okay, so here you can configure any multi-table tournament to your liking. There are some default tournaments to choose from here. When you select a tournament in this drop-down, it's going to set these 5 options shown below. But you can always modify them to your liking. So for example, here I'm going to select the daily casino tournament, but let's say I only want to play against 100 players, so I'll change that. And I want a starting stack of 10,000 chips instead of 5,000, so I'll change that. Each tournament type has different blind levels. You can click here to look at the blind levels. Currently, the blind levels themselves cannot be modified, but you can change the minutes per level here. Or you can try a different tournament type, and hopefully you'll find one to your liking. And you click here to see the payouts. Obviously, the payouts are going to change based on the number of players you selected and the buy-in amount shown here. Now, most live tournaments nowadays use the big blind ante, so that's going to be checked by default. Some online poker sites still use old-fashioned antes where everyone at the table pays a small ante on each hand. If you'd like to use that instead, just uncheck this box. And up here you can select the skill level of your opponents and whether you want to play against our human-like bots or our GTO-style bots. As I mentioned in the other video, our GTO-style bots play a mathematical strategy, and the advice you get when playing against the GTO-style bots is much more like you'd get out of a solver. There's an entire instructional video devoted to our GTO-style bots you can see here. Finally, at the bottom of the screen, these options are mostly the same as the options for our cash game simulator. To use most of these options, you have to select practice mode. When you're in practice mode, you'll be able to peek at your opponent's cards and freeze the button and other things like that. So the tournament will not count towards your leaderboard ranking. The one option you see here that you wouldn't have found in our cash game simulator is the stage to practice feature. If you'd like to practice a certain phase of tournament play, you can select that here. If you were to pick the bubble stage, if, for example, there are 12 players that are going to be in the money in this tournament, if you select this, it will start the tournament with exactly 13 players remaining, so you'll be right on the bubble and you can practice your bubble playing skills. So I'll start the tournament now, and there's not a lot to cover on this screen because almost everything is the same from the other video you watched. The only difference is up here at the top you can see the tournament clock, the blind level, the players remaining, and you can click this tourney info button to get more information about what table you're at, the average stack, and you can see the blind levels and the payouts again in here as well. I will mention, related to the tournament clock, we try to simulate the approximate amount of time that would generally run off the clock, so even if you're folding really quickly pre-flop, you'll still notice a lot of time running off the clock. That's because your opponents are playing out the hand in the background and time is running off. It's also important to note that the amount of time that you take does not affect this, so if you're in the middle of playing a tournament and you leave your laptop on and you go eat dinner and come back a half an hour later, you don't have to worry about a half an hour running off the tournament clock. Up here on the top right, you can go full screen if you want, and if you're in the middle of a tournament and you want to quit and save and resume the tournament later, you can hit this X button up here. And let me show you how. You can go over here to your My Saved Sessions page, and you'll see that tournament at the top here, and you can click this green icon to resume the tournament whenever you're ready. When you finish a tournament, you'll be taken to your results page, which looks like this. It shows various details about how you performed. The players that cashed are shown over here. You'll appear on the list if you finished in the money, otherwise the tournament played out after you got knocked out, and these are the bots that won. And going back to the main menu for a minute, on the Leaderboards tab, here you can look at the leaderboards so you can see how you stack up against other users of APT. And you also have your trophy case down here. You can look at how many tournaments you won and various other accomplishments. Finally, I said I would quickly go over our sit and go simulator. A sit and go is just a single table tournament. The setup is very similar to our multi-table tournaments. You select the type of sit and go you want to play here, the skill level of your opponents over here, and down here you can look at the blind levels and the payouts. And last, the final table trainer puts you right at the final table of a large multi-table tournament so you can practice your final table skills. Once again, the setup is almost identical. The only thing I'll point out is that you can pick your stack size here. So if you'd like to practice playing the final table as a short stack or a large stack, which of course is radically different as far as the strategy you use, you can select one of those here. Okay, once again, don't forget to get your All Access Pass to unlock all these features. Thanks for supporting our community, and now start training and get ready to ignite your game.